Hello, hello. Good evening. How are you, everyone? Wherever you're listening us from, I'm so excited to be here with you another Friday with another guest. This topic is must listen, and I know you're listening me from everywhere around all the platform. I would like you to go and write to me on the chat whether you can hear us. Type us where you're listening us from. This is a place not to miss. Yes, it's about if you're in business and you're looking for investors, this is a place to be right now. And I want to welcome you all. We have a chat. Let me know where you're listening from because my guest of today is a must listen. These are powerful guests. If you have never heard of my guest, he is such a powerful and ready to network and move things forward with you. And I'm so grateful that he has time for us today. And if you're listening to us, go ahead and let us know where you're listening us from. And then we want to engage with you with the topic of today. The topic of today is so important. It's how to invest. Why should we be investing, and how do you need to get investors and funders, and how do they communicate? What do they want from you? So I'm going to call my guest here who is ready, as you can see here with us, ready to get us started. Welcome very much, and I will call you with John Paul because that's one I love. That's your statement. Everybody's knowing about your work, knows who you are, and I was just thinking that what this guy, I don't even need to even ask what questions. He actually is a media and social guru. I have to say, you convinced me. I met you so many years back, probably 5 or 6 years back, and you
Yeah.
grabbed my attention with it, and I was there learning about funders, funding companies, and I said, "What? I want to be engaged with this person," and I was so keen, and I said, "You know what? The right time comes now. Our academy is here." To even host you and give us the classes yourself. And some of you who don't know, I'm not going to speed up that because some of you maybe you know him by the face. You have seen him all over in social media. And thank you very much, Precious from Belgium, for joining us. Let me know where you're listening us because you don't want to miss this platform. I'm going to check up on you, everybody who is coming in here. Let me know where you're listening from. I like the engagement. It's so important to engage and ask questions as we go on. This is a free speak because my guest knows how to market. And I tell you, and we have a surprise for you. Yes, we have a surprise for you. By the end of this discussion here, we will have a discount for something. And it's gonna start very soon. Stay here with us. And I think some of you have seen on the platform somewhere we have shared the kind of opportunity we have here. It's all about our academy. You saw the video that was there before. We have started really getting a lot of information, knowledge. It's COVID-19 time. If you don't take this advantage to learn something new, I don't know when you will ever learn something new because this is the time people are taking courses and learning. And the other day I was doing a pitch your business. Oh my goodness, a powerful one. We got a certificate. Yay! The Our Academy certificates are already out. People are getting informed, empowered, given knowledge. And I can't emphasize in whatever area you are, how to pick is so important. It can open so many doors. And especially for if you are in business, this is the place to be. So welcome very much, John Paul. Go ahead,
Thank you.
introduce yourself. And also, as I wait for the guests to join in, let's get to know who is John Paul. I know you, but I don't want to say who you are because you know how to market yourself. Let's see as he
Okay.
pitches about himself. Welcome, John Paul.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So my name is John Paul Iwoha. I like to call myself a business transformation specialist. Essentially, what I do is I help entrepreneurs solve problems. I've been doing this for almost a decade now. It first started when I was with PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, which is one of the big four consulting firms in the world. Back then, we were doing this for big companies, big banks, big telcos. I moved on to oil and gas, but then I had to come back to my first love, which is consulting, because essentially, when it comes to solving business problems, there's a personal side to it. The moment you help somebody solve a problem and they're able to build a business, they employ more people, the business grows, it serves more customers, it pays tax, it becomes more beneficial to society. So the kind of work I do, besides getting the financial freedom that comes from it, I see it as a missionary job, because the entrepreneurs are the ones who build the economy, we're the ones who build society, we're the ones who build the future. I have a varied background. I started with mechanical engineering, and then I delved into business and finance, and I'm also a certified chartered accountant with the ACCA in the UK. Where exactly do I start? I've worked with dozens of entrepreneurs across very different industries, from fashion to agribusiness to manufacturing to real estate to tech, name it, all sorts, and in very different countries. And many of my clients have done me proud. Many of my students have done me proud. Last year, one of them was a runner-up in the Africa Prize for Engineering Innovation by the Royal Academy of Engineering in the UK. The other one in the Gambia is working with the IFC. There are several different ones. Some of them are CEOs who are running microfinance banks to mid-sized companies, to individual entrepreneurs who are doing their thing. On the media side, I've been featured on several different international platforms. I've been featured on CNN, the Huffington Post. In 2018, LinkedIn named me as one of the top voices on startups and entrepreneurship. I have almost 1 million followers on LinkedIn. So it's a varied background. But I hope that as we discuss, more of those things are definitely going to come out. So that's essentially John Paul in a nutshell.
Wow, wow. That is, I think, I hope you've all managed to grasp all that. Because,
Mhm.
of course, he's actually those information, we put it down for you on the Away Academy for some of you who have not been able to access Away Academy. I can see some of you, you're joining here. I can see a lot of people here watching from Kenya. Yes, this is a place to be share with everybody who is there. I know
Mhm.
I've shared this on different platforms, African Women in Trade, African Women in Europe, all the groups. And I hope my assistant is there helping me to share it around as well to make sure we reach you. Because if you're here, you're going to get a great discount here. As I said, the topic is why getting funding is a big problem. So why is it a big problem? Because that was a statement we
So
put out there.
yeah, so when entrepreneurs say raising money is a big problem, it's important to see what it looks like on the investor side, because investors are also complaining that they can't find enough good businesses to invest in. And you need to understand that the people who have this money have a strong motivation and incentive to give it to you. The first is that if they don't invest the money cannot grow. The way banks make money is by giving out loans. Without loans, banks cannot make any money, because they don't just take your savings and sit on it. The bank has to make money. So they have to give out the money, and they have to give it out as loans. All these funds you see, from Goldman Sachs to JP Morgan, all these sovereign wealth funds with billions and trillions of dollars, for them to make a return, they need to invest. They need to invest the money. The stock market is an example. People go in there and make a lot of money, and the reason is they're investing in businesses. There are very few ways to make very high returns on your money. If you put the money in a savings account, you get a very small return. You can try the stock market, real estate, you can get solid returns, but it's very slow. Investing in a business is one of the few ways, and investors understand this, is one of the few ways of maximizing your returns. So there's a reason for them to want to give it, for them to want to invest. Another reason is that the big companies, just look at what Facebook has been doing. Facebook started as Facebook. So far, it has acquired Instagram, it's acquired WhatsApp, it's acquired Oculus, several different companies that Facebook is acquiring. You ask yourself, why is a big company like Facebook, with Mark Zuckerberg and all those billions of dollars, why is he interested in small companies? And why did he pay what, $19 billion for WhatsApp? And the reason is that the best place to get innovation is in startups. Startups are the ones who are closer to the market. They're the ones who are solving the most current problems. They are flexible, they are nimble, they are easier to change and turn around compared to big, large companies. So there's the incentive for innovation. Another big reason you need to see is that governments are very interested in investing in businesses. The US aid has billions of dollars that it invests in emerging markets like Africa and South America every year. Almost all the countries in Europe have an international development agency through which they invest lots of money in places like Africa. And that's because there's some political power that comes with money. So when you have money and you're able to dole it out, besides the returns you can make, it also helps you to grow your influence in the world. So when African entrepreneurs complain about difficulty in raising money, what I see on the other side is that the investors, the funders, the people with the money are also complaining that they can't find enough viable businesses to invest in. So that now leads us to the important question. What kind of businesses are investors looking for? What kind of preparedness are investors looking at? At what stage can you say your business is investment ready? And that is the biggest challenge I deal with anytime I work with entrepreneurs. They feel they have a business. They are proud of their product. They have customers. They are making money. They are very optimistic. They say they deserve a lot of money. They say they deserve this money, but the banks are turning them down. But then when I look at the businesses, they are not yet investment ready. And a lot of entrepreneurs do not understand what investment ready means. That's the first problem. The second problem is that many entrepreneurs are chasing the wrong type of capital. For example, it's unlikely a venture capital company will agree to invest less than $1 or $3 million in your business. But then maybe your business cannot take up that much money. So what it means is that you're not ready for that size of money. You need smaller money. So no matter how long you knock on their doors, they're not going to listen to you because you're not the kind of company that they invest in. So knowing the right doors to knock on is one problem. Getting yourself investment ready so that an investor deems you fit for investment is a second problem. And then the third one is knowing how to sell yourself. I've seen people who have solid businesses, solid business plans, but then they get on a Zoom call or they get on a stage in front of investors and they are short selling themselves. So it's sometimes it's very disappointing because they've read your pitch deck, they've read your business plan, and then they want to see the person behind this brilliant idea, behind this amazing innovation. And then when you show up on Zoom or on stage, you're a complete disappointment. And the interesting thing is this: investors do not invest in your piece of paper called the business plan. They don't invest in your email pitch. They want to invest in human beings. They want to see the founder. And many times, depending on the amount of money you're asking for, they want to see a co-founder or a team. They want to see a system, not just one person. So what that means is that if you can sell your idea to an investor, what it tells the investor is you can sell this to customers. You can sell yourself to suppliers and get people on board. You can sell yourself to distributors. If you get in trouble with regulators in a country, you can find your way around problems. That's what it tells them. So that personal side is a common gap that I noticed. So I'm not sure what other questions you have, but as we progress, more of these things are going to come out. So, but I thought I should lay it out. When people say they are facing problems raising money, investors are also complaining that they are not seeing viable businesses coming forward.
Wow, that's really makes everybody who's listening here very tentative, because you're really putting in very good tips there, because some people don't even know that the investors cannot even find them. There's something that they're looking for, and that's why we are here today, because we want to give you these tips and tell you what the investors are looking for. Throw your questions there. I can see a lot of communication going there. If you have any question and you want to ask, this is the right time to ask, because next time it will be in a class, and we have an offer for you if you stay here for long, and I'm going to release that very shortly. Stay with us, and I can see getting yourself investors ready. Yes, that is so important, and that's why we talk about pitch deck is so important. The way you present yourself, the way your Facebooks and all those other social medias are talking about, everybody's checking on that. So I can see a lot of the communication here. You're all welcome. Let me know where you're listening from. Let's get engaged. Yeah, I'm loving this information. This is the right on the. Yeah, I will give you the stage because I know you have so many tips for us. And the women and the men and the entrepreneur here cannot and all waiting for these tips. But before you get to those tips, I want to tell the listeners that we are here because of our academy. Our academy is where we will be having a class talking about this particular topic that you're hearing here in a one-to-one, more closer smaller group that you can get engaged in. And our academy, some of you who don't know this, is an our African women in Europe sharing skills, not only from diaspora aspect, also from the Africa continent, coming to share us with the idea. So we are here to give you this opportunity to book a class with us. And if you book your class, so as we are speaking right now, there's an offer there waiting for you for a 10%. I can see an old offer came up, but we are having a discount for you for 10% on the ticket that is of the training. And I'm going to show you what we are gonna be talking about. The topic about is about a funding masterclass, which is going for 250 euros. So you get a 10% if you book as we speak right now. It has been opened up for you. And the class starts from already, as you can see, in January 27th. And it's 3 classes, each going 2 hours and a half. It's a place to be. So I'm calling out to you out there. Go to www.awayacademy.eu, www.awayacademy.eu. That's where you'll get your 10% discount of the topic. So go ahead, give us this time we're all giving you tips how to get along with this discussion and what will be coming in the class. But I'll let John Paul to go ahead and tell us so many tips. And put your questions. I request you to put it. I can see a lot of people writing there. Yes, I'm listening from Nigeria. Welcome. Elsie from Nigeria. Yes, from the African Women in Trade. Welcome. I can see Victoria there is here from Germany. Welcome. I can see another from Nairobi. Feel free to ask your question. Thank you so much. And I can see here there's a investor does not invest on piece of paper, but on the person and a working system. What do you think about that, John Paul?
Okay, so this is a very interesting way to put it, because when an entrepreneur is thinking about raising money, they are thinking of the potential growth of their business. That if they get this $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million, they can put it into their business and expand, serve more customers, grow their sales, and make more profits. So as entrepreneurs, naturally, we are optimistic people. I have never seen an entrepreneur, and I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. I've never seen an entrepreneur who believes that their business is going to fail. Not one. Even the ones with the craziest ideas believe that their business is going to work out. So entrepreneurs are optimistic by nature. But when an investor is looking at a business, investors think in terms of risk. That's how investors think. What is the likelihood that I'm going to get my money back with a return? That's how investors think. Many entrepreneurs think that it's automatic. Once they raise money, things are going to go well, and then they will solve any problems that they have, and the business is going to succeed. But most investors know that is not true. Any investor knows that there is a likelihood that you will not get your money back. And when investors think of risk, there are 7 key areas of risk that they're thinking about. The first is market risk. This is the most fundamental type of risk that investors are looking for. Do you have a product or a service that solves a real problem that people are willing to pay for? Now, there are products out there that look nice, they feel nice, they have a solid pitch to them, but they don't solve any real problem. Or they solve a problem, but there are already alternatives in the market. There are other things people can use to solve the problem. What entrepreneurs are looking for is a product that solves a compelling problem. So if you say your product solves a compelling problem, how do you know that? What is the customer feedback? That is one way. The second way is, have you sold anyone? How many units of the product have you sold? And then the third way is, if you've sold the product, how many of your customers are coming back? Because guess what? Returning customers, especially for a product that more or less requires steady use. So if you're building, say, toothpaste, or you're in the fashion business, or you're in agribusiness, or you're in real estate, the way it works is, if I'm in real estate, for example, and I'm a real estate developer, if I develop an estate or I build a property for a client, if that client is happy with my work, naturally, they should want to recommend me to somebody else. That's how I'm going to get a customer. But if your existing clients are not recommending you, what it means is that there is a problem. They are not confident enough to recommend you, or they don't want to recommend you. So market risk is a common area that investors are looking for. The best way to prove that your market risk is low is that you have a product, you have made sales, and you have a customer base that is returning to you and referring customers. That's it for market risk. The second major risk, and unfortunately for many entrepreneurs, this is the risk that most entrepreneurs take for granted, is competition risk. When you ask many people, especially startup entrepreneurs, they tell you nobody else is doing this. This is so unique. It's the only product on the market. Nobody else is doing this. Now, I want to let you know what it looks like on the investor side. When an investor hears that nobody else is doing this, there are two things the investor is already thinking. The first one is that you've not done your research very well, or you don't know your market very well. Because the way the world is so open, that we're so globalized and information is available at just one Google search, it's very likely that somebody else is doing something similar to what you're doing. So if you don't know who those people are, then what it tells them is that you may not know your market really well. The second thing is that you are underestimating the competition. Maybe you feel that the people who are already in the market are just going to sit by and let you walk into the market and take over the market and take over their customers. That will never happen. The moment you introduce a product or a service to the market, one thing is clear. The existing players are going to take action. They are going to defend their market share. They are going to react in some way. And what the investor wants to know is, what do you have in your product or your business that makes it possible for you to compete with the existence of competitors in your market? That thing is what we call a competitive advantage. It is something you can do better, faster, more conveniently, cheaper, or somehow better than the competition. If you do not have that in your business or your idea, it is very likely that investors are going to consider you a naive entrepreneur, that you don't really understand, that you think this world is just all roses, that the market will allow you to walk in and just take market share. But unfortunately, working with entrepreneurs, many times, this is one area of risk that they take for granted a whole lot. So, but I know we have a masterclass. I don't want to give away the whole farm. So maybe what I'm just going to do is, out of the 7 risks, I've already talked about 2. Let me talk about one other one and then leave the rest for the people who will attend the program. And that is execution risk. This is a risk that seriously affects entrepreneurs who are in the startup stage, in the idea stage. So you have an idea, it's a bright idea. And one of the common ways entrepreneurs describe their ideas is that it's a multi-million-dollar idea. It's going to change the world. You know, no, I'm going to change something that nobody else has done before. Now, one thing I know about ideas is that they are full of talk, they are full of dreams, they are full of promise. And as we know, talk is cheap. What changes the scale is your ability to execute that idea from an idea to a real business with a real product, with real customers, with real sales and real profits. So the investor wants to know how high or low your execution risk is. One common way is, you're about to go into an industry. Do you have any knowledge, any training, any experience, any skills that are relevant to that industry? You tell me you're going to create the world's next game-changing software product, but you are not a tech person, you don't have tech skills, you've never worked in the industry, you don't have any knowledge about it. That's just somebody who has a dream. It's just a dream. Now, imagine that kind of person is asking for money, and there is somebody else who walks into the room and says, I've worked as an employee in the software industry for 5 years. I have experience in this industry. I know who is who. I know who the suppliers are. I know the major risks that affect the industry. I have this idea. I don't have the money, but I know this industry very well. That is a game changer. That is clearly a game changer. Investors are going to take that guy seriously because his execution risk is far lower than the other guy who has a bright idea, a beautiful business plan, a wonderful pitch deck, but no relevant experience or skills in the industry. And there are ways, of course, you can mitigate this. I'll just give away one of several. One common way is that the investor will ask you for a co-founder. Do you have a co-founder in this business who has those skills that you lack, who has the knowledge that you lack, who has the experience and the contacts that you lack. So out of the 7, I'll just give these 3. And then for those people who attend the masterclass, I'll flesh out all of this risk, because here's the secret. If you know how to handle risk, you have already solved the funding problem, because you now know how to think how investors think. If you know how to think how investors think, you have already solved the problem. And investors think in terms of risk. And thinking in terms of risk is very difficult for entrepreneurs, because we are optimists by nature. We don't want to think about the things that can go wrong. We're always thinking about the bright side, the profit side, the money side, the success side, you know? So I think I'm just going to rest it there.
Wow, wow. That I love that the investor how to handle your risks, because people don't think about risk at all. And I love the way you just put it there. And I can see people here commenting and saying you actually mentioned some people straight to the point. A third risk excursion needs my problem. Yes, I can see so many people there. Put your question there. Let us know what you're asking. Let's get this engaged. We're here to answer your question. This is your chance. The next one will be in the class. As I mentioned, we have now a class that is coming up to just talk about this only, how to attract. And we actually have a list of investors that we think that you can already tap. But we need to know, do you know how to talk about them before we interact with them? African women in trade are really trying hard to bring the African women in doing businesses in Africa, training them and making sure that they understand how the business really look like on this other side, and why are the investors not finding us. So you can always reach out any other time. As I mentioned there, check on Africa Away Academy. Yes, so we have so many projects, African women in Europe, African women in trade. Yes, we are women-oriented organization, and this is the time for you. We have an academy, and we're giving out a 10% discount. I've shared with you already the link there to check on the chat. Click on it, and right now as we speak, you're going to get 10% discount on the classes, the funding masterclass, which is going to €150. Check how much is the currency, and as you can see, it's starting already on 27th January and next week, but 1. And it's a 3 course going 2 hours and a half. And I can tell you, John Paul give you those 2 hours. You can see the pace is coming from you and the speed of the information that is coming. You need to have your paper and your pencil and your brain salad, and stop him whenever you feel. It's a very cozy class. You're looking at class that is that is productive, because you're not looking here. You're looking here just not to just listen and to learn something and not be active. We are actually looking that you take the step forward, you start applying, getting to know which options you have, and we help you all the way to even fill up those applications form. And that's what Paul is here. John Paul is there to do exactly that. And I can just going back to the discussion on the chat. Let's see what you're writing. Keep on writing. I'll just come up as we go up. I can see here a third risk excursion. Okay, that one we put it up. Well done. You mentioned, well, the masterclass teach me how to convert my idea to a product, because excursion is my major issue. Yes. John Paul, we talk about that. Keep that thought there. That's the question you'll answer as we are going to the next discussion right there. Let's see here. Understanding the competition is a product killer. Yeah, there's so much competition. You have to stand out. You have to stand out and be the I can see somebody else, a second risk, competition risk. You need to be in the class if you want to know more about how to deal with that. It's a killer of most of us in the industry, where we are bring up new ideas right now with the situation. A product that is valuable must solve a compiling problem. So exactly, you really went straight to the point. Feel free to ask your question.
Can I say something about this question?
Which one? This one?
Yes. So
yes,
that a product must solve a compelling problem. Yes, but there is something missing. And that is something I left out for people in the masterclass. But since this question has come up, let me say it. One common area of market risk. Remember, that's the first risk I talked about that investors are looking at. One other component of market risk investors are looking at is the size of the market. It doesn't matter how compelling the product how compelling the problem you're solving, if it's only for a tiny market, because investors are already thinking far. How much can you scale this business? How much can you scale the sales of this company? And if the problem you're solving is only for a small part of the market, then you're going to lose the investors. So, for example, think of all the major companies that are making money today. Think of Uber. Uber is in the ride-hailing business. How many people do you think need a ride every day? That is millions of people. Think of Airbnb. How many people need accommodation who are in a new city but they don't want to be in a hotel? That's millions of people. So the problem you're solving needs to be scalable. The market needs to be large. If you're solving a compelling problem for a small market, nobody's going to listen to you.
Wow, you got it right there, the question that was put up there. And thank you for all those who are asking questions. Feel free to ask questions. This is your chance to do that. And I'll go ahead and go back to that question here to get you started with the next discussion before I ask you the next question.
Okay, so that's the with the masterclass teach me how to convert my idea to a product. Now, I'm going to answer this question in two ways. The theme of this masterclass is to show you how to raise funding for your business. Whether you have an idea and you're trying to start it, whether you have a startup and you're trying to grow it, or you have a growing business, you're trying to expand it, or you have an existing business that has run into trouble and you need money to turn it around. This is very common with mature businesses or family businesses. Excuse me, that is the scope of this masterclass. If beyond the masterclass, you want to learn how to move your business from idea to product, as Joy is going to tell you, we have a slew of training courses coming up. This is going to be a magnificent year for the Awe Academy. If you're already in this academy, me coming on board, there's a lot I can do to change your life this year. So if the next common question is that I have an idea and I'm trying to move it to a product, then I think you need to look forward to a following course that will come after this. But again, what that means is that this funding course is important for you, because there is one thing you're going to learn in this funding masterclass. Some of you are going to realize that the dreams that you have are just not realistic. That is one thing that's going to hit you. So you might need to look at another business idea that is much more realistic. For example, no investor is going to give you $1 million when all you have is an idea. And the reason is this: what if your idea doesn't work? Guess what? The investor loses their $1 million. But what do you lose? So that's how investors are looking at it. What is your skin in the game? What do you lose? So you are not yet investment ready if you cannot answer that question. You need to come into it as a partnership. And another common problem is that people walk into a room with an investor and they are begging for money. We're not talking about charity here. Of course, I know some of us here have business ideas or ventures that are in the NGO space. But even at that, raising money is a sales activity. It's not a begging activity. Nobody is going to give you money to throw away just because you begged for it. You have to show them that it is an opportunity for them to make money. That's what it is. When you're trying to raise money, it's an invitation. You are inviting the investor to an opportunity to make money, to an opportunity to be part of something big, to be part of an opportunity that they can brag about. Remember, investors are people. They brag about the kind of investor, the kind of companies they invest in with their friends. When you show up in the media on CNN or BBC or Fox or anywhere, they are going to point to their friends and say, I'm the guy who invested in that person, and see where we are. Their friends are going to be envious. So there is more than returns. What you have to offer the investor is more than making money. It's an opportunity to change the world, to do something different, to impact the environment, to change a problem, to be part of something big. So these are the things we're going to be exploring inside of the masterclass. And like I said, it doesn't matter the scale of business you're trying to build. You're going to need money at some stage. And what I found is that Every successful entrepreneur I've seen is good at fundraising. They are really good, including the introverted ones, the ones who don't talk. They are really good at raising money. And the secret to it is to understand how investors think. Once you understand how they think, you tell them what they need to know and what they need to hear, and people start to ask you what kind of magic you're using.
Wow, wow, that really went straight to the answer. I hope that your question has been answered quite well. Keep asking your questions, and we are happy to share with people here as much as we can. So I wanted to ask you, the way you're saying investors, funders, could you really help the people understand what type of investors are there? Because some people have been able to get investors, but they don't know which one, and then they end up getting the wrong one because they didn't understand what that investor that you have. The angels, there are many of them. Can you give us like a small overview? Not everything, they have to come to the class to get that, but just
Okay.
give them a
Okay.
tip. The investors, they don't all talk the same language.
Yeah, they don't. So when most people think about investors, most people, or when they think about raising money, most people think about the banks. The banks are not giving me money. The banks don't want to give me money. And it's not strange to expect that, because it appears that the banks are the most visible funders. After all, that's where all the money is. So most people think, the banks have to give them money. But there are actually 15 major sources of funding, 15 of them. And the banks are just one. I'm not going to go into all the 15. We'll leave that for the masterclass. But this is what you need to know. Even if you don't join the masterclass, I want to leave you with this. All money is not the same. And I want you to make sure you never forget it. Money, a $100 bill may look the same as the other one. It may feel the same, may smell the same. All money is not money when it comes to raising money from investors. And let me explain this. There are 3 types of money when you need to raise money for your business. The first is equity, which is you're inviting somebody to take a stake in your company in exchange for sharing in the profits of that company. The person becomes a shareholder. That's equity. The second is debt. When somebody lends you money in exchange for you to pay them interest and then pay back the money. That's typically what the banks do. But the banks are not the only institution or funding organization that gives debt. And then the third one is grants. Grants, I call them freebie. They are free money that the person who is giving it to you does not expect you to pay back. Grants can be donations. It can be prize money you win in a competition. And there are several interesting opportunities to raise money that many entrepreneurs don't know and they just overlook. And all these monies are coming out I've seen entrepreneurs, the moment they understand, like some of my students and clients, you see they become serial appliers to competitions. They now apply for several competitions, because imagine what happens. They're picking up $10,000 here, $25,000 there, $30,000 there, and it's helping the business move. Meanwhile, the other person is waiting until they raise $1 million. So there are different ways around this thing. And like I just mentioned, equity is not entirely better than debt. And debt is not entirely better than grants. Guess what? It all depends on what kind of business you have, what you want to do with that money, and your personal preferences. That's what will determine whether you better go for equity or go for loans or go for debt. Some people go for equity and it's a waste of time and money, because it would have just been better to take a loan and then run the business the way you want it. Meanwhile, they take equity and get a stranger into their business, and then they have all these arguments and conflicts, and then the business crashes. And then sometimes getting a loan is bad for you, because the interest on that loan is going to be so expensive for your business that it's going to run you down. So the best thing is to go for patient money, and patient money sometimes is equity. So the benefit of people who are going to attend the masterclass is that when they tell me what kind of business they have, when they tell me what their personal preferences are and what they want, I can then tell them what kind of money they can go after. Also, people who come for the masterclass will know the pros and cons of debt, of equity, and of grants. So it's this kind of thinking that helps you know when you should not be talking to a particular investor, because that's just not the right person for you. That's the only way you can tell. If not, you end up sending your business plan to everybody because they call themselves an investor. There are people you should shun, and there are people you should double down on. but you cannot do that without wisdom.
Wow. Well, I think that was quite a message straight to us. Don't give them too much. You have to come to the classes. The classes, that's where we have all this information, because I have seen people making big mistakes, applying in the wrong places. Not because they cannot get it, but not because the project is bad, but it's just applying in the wrong places, not knowing what, or even losing your business because you gave out almost 100% and you didn't even realize you are running after money. You don't know the small print what they were saying. So it's very, very important to understand that. Thank you for pointing that out. And I can see people now are asking quite a lot of interesting questions here, which I will let them roll as we go on. We are almost 45 minutes in. And I want the people to get advantage of this, because they know that if I can see somebody here say, I'm looking for a grant. Yes, first of all, let's understand what is the grant and what are the funding. Then we can tell you where they are. There, as you had, there's enough for everyone, enough for everyone for the funding. But how do you do it? So I have a question here. I want to set up a clothesline for customized clothes with an African touch. What do I do to get funding?
Okay, so what I notice in this statement is I want to set up a clothesline for customized clothes with an African touch. What do I do to get funding? Now, the language is a bit subtle. Many entrepreneurs want to raise money. They want money. But the people who get money, the people who get the funding, are those people who deserve funding. You can want funding all you want. Everybody wants everything. I want to go to space someday. I want to be able to fly. Everybody wants something, but do you deserve it? So the conversation we're having, especially about this masterclass, is how you can present yourself as a business that deserves funding. So from this statement, this is somebody in the idea stage. He wants to set up a clothing line. Wants to. He hasn't yet set up the clothing line. How far have you gone in terms of that statement, setting it up? So, for example, are you one of those people who are waiting for the money before they can do anything? Or are you one of those people who has moved to a certain extent so that you can prove that you deserve the funding? Let me give you a concrete example of what I mean. I have a client who is in the fashion space. She hasn't raised money, but it will shock you how far she's gone. She's gone so far as to open up communication channels with potential suppliers. She's done all the inquiries. She's been on the ground to see what her competitors are doing. She now knows how she can differentiate herself. She has already even sold some prototypes and tried to sell it. After all, what does it cost you to make 1, 2, or 3 clothes and see how it will sell? She's tried to open up an Amazon account and a Zook account. She's actually based in Dubai. Tried to sell on Zook to see if people are going to buy. So you want to set up a clothing line business, and somebody else has gone ahead to produce samples of what they want to make. They're actually dealing with the real customers, having conversations with suppliers and distributors. When you come to an investor, the other person has already started reducing many of the risks. Look at the market risk. She's already proven her concept. She's already been able to sell some of the samples. Look at competition risk. She's gone out there to see what other people are doing. Look at execution risk. She's already setting up, plus a couple of all the other risks I haven't mentioned. So by the time she shows up, most of her risk levels are quite low compared to the other guy who is just saying, oh, I want to set up a clothing line. I want funding. Nobody gives you funding because you want it. You only get funding because you deserve it. So it's your job to prove that you are deserving of funding. Then you can say that you're investment ready and investors can listen to you. Because like I said, if all you're bringing to the table is an idea and you want the investor to bring all the money, if something goes wrong, what do you lose? All you lose is an idea. And we know that ideas don't cost anything. They live in our heads rent free. You don't lose anything. But the guy who's bringing the money loses everything. That is an unfair situation. And that is why you're unlikely to get money.
Wow. I hope we answered you quite well, and I agree with you completely. If you're looking for funding or investors, you need, first of all, a lot of preparation, because the investors You might be fighting for it harder than the one who has already started and is already moving. I can see
Mhm.
questions still rolling up here, very important questions. So we're in the question time now, winding up. And I told you we have a coupon for fund for this class that is coming. It's called funding class. If you go www.awayacademy, I can see some people have asked there, awayacademy.eu, and I put the link there as well. Takes you to the courses. You'll find the class there. Use the coupon here saying funding 2021. That's the offer I'm giving you for the listeners who are in here. Use that coupon or even email us as well, and we will get back to you and give you the coupon as well too if it's not working or anything issues come up. And the class is already starting, and I'm going to share with you again the classes that we have already set up. Is already we are really excited with these particular classes as well as so many other classes. You find one. We also have so many. I'll tell you more in that. But the funding, it's called Funding Masterclass, is going for €250. We have given you 10% discount to book, and it's starting on 27th January. Three times. Let me remove that so that you can see it properly. It's going to be for 3 times in the week, one probably one after another one, and then 27th. Check those dates, copy that part, and check on your internet. Then you'll find this class there, and it's starting, and we are so excited to learn. We are actually having it's just not a simple class, because we even have some small solutions for you guys once we see what stage you are, and we are looking for those businesses, of course, who are ready to for who have been trying to get funding, or is a business that is just about to because of the COVID-19, it was doing very well, right? We have this situation. COVID-19 came, businesses went down. That doesn't mean it's not going to pick up, but you might be able to be supported by a funder who you can prove that your business is going to be excelling and it was existing and it's going to go back, and you can prove that. This is the right place to be right now. We do have a lot of investors, as you heard from John Paul. The problem is not finding. We have so many people looking for funds, and you have so many investors, but they don't make something not happening. Where is the problem? So our academy is trying to find the solution here, finding you entrepreneurs, finding out what's the problem, having classes for you. We have prepared very special classes, and now linking you up with an investor. And if you're an investor, they are trying to get an entrepreneur. Reach out to us as well, because we can link you up with the right companies and businesses that are really ready to be supported. And our African women African women in trade, it's a very new organization of over 2,000 entrepreneur women in industry, engineering, and some of up to the woman who is selling fashion clothes or selling even in agriculture, and they are ready to do. This is their time. This is their time. So let's go to the questions here now. Let's see what questions are coming up. I think that one we did answer. Let's see. I need to read before I bring them up if we have already done them. I want to set up, okay, that one we did. That's the last. I'm running a microfinance funding women only all over the country. Banks always shy away from lending to our institutions, seeing like we are in competition. There comes the
Okay.
competition.
Okay. So what I'm seeing here is a business, a venture that is trying to raise money, and they are going to their competition to ask them to give them money. Of course, if you were in that position, you're going to say no. So this is a clear case of a business that likely has potential, and I'm going to tell you why, knocking on the wrong doors. So it doesn't matter how long you knock, how hard you knock, that door's never going to be open. So here's the way to structure this. You are an organization that funds women. Women to do what? What kinds of women? So let me imagine off the top of my head. These are rural women, or widows, or women who don't have a job, or women who are running small businesses, and you are funding them to do what? So I'm trying to raise this. Sorry. Okay, so you are funding these women to do what? So The strongest sell of this venture is that it's a social impact organization. That's the way it's supposed to sell itself. Now, what I'm saying here is that you are selling yourself as an organization that funds women. That's not what you do. You are helping to transform lives. You are in the business of social impact. Forget the funding. The funding is your means to the end, but you need to focus on the end. You are a social impact organization. And the best place to knock on are those investors that are motivated to invest for social impact. These are those organizations that are trying to fight poverty in Africa, reduce the gender gap in Africa, improve rural communities, support small businesses. These are the kinds of organizations you need to be looking for because you are aligned in your mission. So, but forget the funding because the funding is the means. So when you align with them and say, we want you to help us, we want to work together, we want you to support us. This is the kind of change we are trying to make happen in Kenya. Look at the kind of success stories we have so far. Look at the number of women we have helped. With your help, we can do more. Then they're not asking you, what kind of help do you want? Then you can say, we need technical support. We know you've done this for other businesses around the world. We need you to help us more or less become better at this. And we need funding. Many of these women require help to grow their businesses, to support their projects. And so you see that the key message is we are into social impact. We are not even talking about funding. The money will come. You need to buy the heart of the investor, and then the money will come. But when you come and say money, everybody is looking for money. Everybody is asking for money. And the moment you say money, the person closes their ears and they don't listen to other things you're saying. So it's part of a psychology. You need to know what your strong sell is. For some businesses, it is social impact. For some businesses, it is innovation. For some other businesses, it's the way they are more or less doing things. It could be the impact on the environment. We are helping to fight climate change. You need to know what these core things are. And then that is the key you use to unlock the mind of the investor before the conversation about money comes up.
Wow, I think that answered you, Modoni Kidake, and it's a very, very essential, especially when you're dealing with women. You need to find the cause before you get the funding.
Sorry, I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with any business that's working with vulnerable groups, children, women, disadvantaged communities, indigenous communities, you have a very strong sell because these days there are a lot of funds for that. In fact, there are some of my students who complain, who are men, who say they found an organization that is a solid fit for them, but they only invest in women. That's a discrimination against men. So somehow women have the advantage, especially when you're working with women or you're trying to support them. If you're doing anything around poverty, doing anything around the environment, even if it concerns climate change a bit, there are lots of climate change remediation funds, intervention funds out there that you need to more or less lock into. But if you come with a conversation of I need money, you're going to make it difficult for them to listen to the real work that you do. So it's also part of, I mentioned it earlier, it's about sales. That's what people don't get. Don't focus on what you want. What you want is money. What does the investor want? Are they looking for returns? Are they looking for bragging rights? Are they looking to make impact? Are they looking for innovative products? What do they want? That's exactly how you should look at it. So it is about selling. It's not about telling me what you want. If you tell me what you want, everybody wants money, and then raising money is just noise. That's the problem.
Yeah, and what problem are you solving? As you say, what problem are you solving? And all of you, I can see you're listening here. Questions are coming, and you're calling each other. I love that. We're almost to the end, but a lot of tips have been shared. But I can tell you, most of it, some of us will enjoy it in the class. So we are here to calling you out to come for the funding class that is starting in our academy. Our Academy, I've shared the link there. I'll share with you again as we speak right now. The Our Academy is very simple. Check on it. We have the funding class coming up, and we are giving you the only for you listeners here funding that is going to close by the end of the weekend. And it's going to be at 10%. Normally I give 20%, but today I give you 10%. And the class is going to be giving you quite a lot of information. So I'm going to share with you again here so that you can prepare yourself knowing what is coming in the class. It's called the funding. You'll find it's called the funding master class, going for €250. The class starts anyway from 9, very evening, comfortable time. We're starting already end of January, so you have enough time to prepare yourself. Bring your friends, people. We even have a lot of information for you. So it's at 3 times, so 2 hours and a half. Trust me. After that, you will get the right, because I chose John Paul here. We've been known each other for years, but we have never come up to do what we can do together, because the knowledge he can share with you is so much. And we are planning to partner in this for a longer time. So you're already seen what you want. You want your shoestring. We need to find you to get you to the right places. So please go ahead, share with your friends this video, whether you're listening now or later. Check on it, email us as well. And we will get back to you. And our email for the Awe Academy and all the other communication is info@africanwomenineurope.eu, because there is under African women. And I'm going to share with you here, info@africanwomenineurope.eu. But go straight to the website. This is your time. This is our time. In Africa, people are really looking for it. It's the biggest growing economic country in the whole continent, in the whole world. Put it that way. It's growing. You guys here in Europe, you're locked down. This is why on business. Everything is going on like nobody's business. Yeah. And what are we doing here as diaspora? We need also to know how to talk to the investors, because as diaspora is not only for the business people. You diaspora, you can be a bridge. That's another aspect of this. You can be the bridge of the person who will come and talk to the investors. Since you're here in the diaspora, you know the language, what they're talking. You can speak even German, some of you can speak Dutch, you can speak French. You can talk to the investors. You are the bridge, because as we said, we have the investors, a lot of investors looking for places to fund, but they don't have the entrepreneur, the right entrepreneur. So you are here in the between, and you see that's where the joy is coming in as the diaspora, linking you. Therefore, I need you to, from the African side, to understand what the diaspora needs. We are giving you training on the academy, and I'm going to communicate with you with the right people and tell the investors that, yes, this person is a right person. I've done the due diligence. I've prepared the person. This person can pitch and actually show you in action what they're doing. And then we connect the two. There is an issue in between. So that's where we are coming in to solve this issue with you. And with that, we need to make sure that you're prepared in the classes. So if you're diaspora, if you're entrepreneur, those two targets, you should be coming for these classes, because these classes is for you to understand. Because I know myself in the diaspora, so many times I meet investors. Oh yeah, these are investors, they're doing this and that, and I go like, oh my God, these are very good, but who am I gonna put in Africa? I have no idea who is doing what, and I don't want to put myself into the risk of it. So we are taking this risk at hand, preparing you diaspora. If you're African women in trade and you're listening, this is a big shoe for you guys. You're gonna I'll be here as a founder, and making sure that you will understand the language. So next time when we do a pitch deck and your business is polished, we're gonna help you step by step. This is not a class that is gonna just tell you information and leave you there. No, we have action plans after that. But you have to make the biggest step first. You are the first person to make the step before we go that far. So we can just give you so much information, but you have to make. So we have the funding coming up at this class. And as you can see, John Paul is an interview. I'm telling you, I don't want even you to go Google too much, because if you put on her name everywhere, it will block your page. A powerful guy. I've known him over, I don't know, 5 years or more, 6, I think. And he is a very strategic guy. I like the way he works. And that's why I think he's the right person to help you and me as well, because I'm also in the class. I want to understand so that I know when I look for you, entrepreneur, where we go. So take advantage of this class. We're giving you 10% discount, and I've showed you so let's see what question if you have. We're gonna wind up now slowly. We don't want, I know John Paul can give you a lot. He's a very generous guy. I have to tell you, very generous with his information. Some of this information you find on the platform. I encourage you to go actually to his platform. Yeah. I encourage you, go there and have a look at it, because there's some few things that you don't see here, and he does quite a lot. But first of all, come to my class, funding class. That's where we are having the real
Yeah,
business happening
true,
there. So
true.
let me check on the
Joy,
question
I wanted to
around.
mention something. You said something very important about people in the diaspora. And I think that the people in the diaspora have a privilege that entrepreneurs on the continent don't have. And that's because of what I'm seeing. So let's use, you're in Germany, right? So let's use Germany, for example. There's a recent initiative by the German government to invest in African entrepreneurs. But here's how it works. There has to be an African resident in Germany who nominates the entrepreneur in Africa, and then the diaspora person contributes a part of the money, and then the German government contributes another part. What I'm beginning to see is that many of the countries in Europe, including and then also America and Canada on the North American side, are beginning to change their approach to helping Africa. All this time it has been aid money, aid money, aid money. They bring all these billions, they give it to the government and the politicians, and the money doesn't come down to the grassroots. It doesn't come down to the entrepreneurs who actually need the money. What I'm beginning to see is that they are changing their approach. Many of them are now trying to invest directly in the entrepreneurs. So this is a very great time for people in the diaspora.
You will not believe it, John Paul. African women, actually in Germany, we are in that project. It's called Video Africa project.
Video Africa, exactly. Yes.
Giving every other week. We had last week training how to get the funding, the diaspora, and I'm also in NITA. We actually buying cows. Our cow even has given birth as well. So it's actually a project that is so simple, modified to actually. So check on that as well. We'll be sharing with that on this project as well. I'll be telling you about that project so that you can also start getting the funds, because some of these funds are free, and it's a free grant. That one, it's a free grant, and I'm telling you, it's 2,500 euro because I'm in the project. And and if you are affected with the COVID-19, if you're not, we share half. So I did the half because I thought this is a good deal. I always send money home, but let me see whether I get another half. I mean, 100% of it back at the end of it. And we have seen so many entrepreneurs and the youth. They have got this fund, and it's not a joke. They have received the fund. We can prove that they have, and we are getting there. It's a process, very simple. Perfect. Diaspora. This is your time. And I can tell you why they're going for the diasporans. Because the government have failed. The African government has failed. They have been given the money, and they cannot, especially during COVID-19, they could not explain. Finally, they are talking to the diaspora. So diaspora, please wake up. You need to wake up, because you are the key to the Africa development. If you don't wake up now, it will be too late, and these funds go back to other continent, other countries. We have so many in the whole world that are waiting for these funds. So Africa, this is your time. Very good. So let's go to the question before we wind up. But I love this discussion. We're already 1 hour. Let me go through to make sure I didn't miss any question. I'll just pin from bottom to all the way up. Amazing topic. Thank you for joining us. This is a topic I need information on. Yes. Check out on that, and as I explained to you, there we have the www.academy.eu. The funding we're giving you 10%. This is a very very fair price, I can tell you, because it's gonna take you to even beyond, because we are starting to be more proactive on this. So, and then I can see at Mary, okay, there's some people here talking to each other. Hope I didn't miss a lot. Don't worry.
You did.
Rewind this project, and you'll hear more. But if you want to hear the most, join us. 27th of January, towards the end. And I'm sure some of you will have already paid. Do something for yourself. Gift yourself something. Give yourself a gift. I would love to attend, but cannot afford to pay for the masterclass.
Can I say something about that, please?
Yeah.
Can I say something about that? So here's what it is. If you look at it as a cost, right now we're in the middle of COVID-19. There are a lot of things that are more or less putting pressure on your finances. there's rent, there's school fees, there's feeding, and all those things. If you look at this masterclass as a cost, the logical thing is to save money. But if you look at it as an investment, remember, as a cost, when you spend money on rent, that money doesn't come back to you, it's gone. You spend money on food, it's gone. But when you consider when something is an investment, the money always comes back. And guess what? It comes back with returns. That's what this is. Imagine what will happen to you when you have the skill to be able to raise money. Then what it means is that you now have access to a pipeline that other people before now, including you, have been oblivious of. So I don't know how much money you're going to raise, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, whatever it is, but you now have the skill. You can now speak the language. So what is 250 euros compared to the value you can get in return? So like I said, if this is looking like a cost to you, the logical thing is don't join. The masterclass may be too much for you. But if it is an investment, then of course, it's just something you have to do. So that's what I'm going to, I think it's something that just sells itself. And my case studies, my clients, my students, more or less the kind of successes that they have, many of them even come back to me and tell me, I don't think you are charging enough for this. And for them to say something like that, I can only imagine what they've been able to do with the information and the knowledge. So affording something is relative. It all depends on whether you're looking at it as a cost or an investment.
And for us as investors trying to connect with the investor, if you cannot afford it, how are you going to manage so much money? These people are giving you 1 million, 2 millions. If you cannot invest yourself with the little that you need to get to that point, I think it's actually a bad alert for investors. So and when I talk to investors, because we are also investors as diaspora. So for me, I need to understand the way you look at money and how you invest yourself before I put you with an investor. So it's a very good way. But as I said, save. The classes are continuous. You can come back in the Awe Academy as well. We have membership of Awe Academy, which is around 499 for the whole year. That's another option. You can also take another option, which is a basic. And I'm going to give you more information on that of membership, where you can access the classes, because we do understand that some of these classes you have, because of the connectivity of the internet where you are, you might not be able to be there on the time, even if you want to. We know the internet is costing, so we are going to have them also as well for you to watch later as well. But you need to be a member of the Awe Academy, and as well, that one is actually much more than the classes itself. And it's better when you're there, because you get the one-to-one, and then we need that one-to-one connection, especially when you're bringing anybody closer to any investor anywhere. So I'm going now again to see whether there is any other question. Okay, raising money is just noise. I don't know what that means. Glad to see you're here. So I can see a lot of people here connected. There was a question. Let me make sure that everybody use equity. Okay, there was somebody here contributing in the issue of when you're bringing up ideas to the investors, where you should be getting some information from. That's very important. Reduce inequality in agenda. Correct. We have been knocking on the wrong doors. Yes, I see. That's so true. Join the class and find the right classes to knock out. Yeah. Thank you so much. I can see that's all. The rest were just comment or interacting with each other. So I want to thank you, all of you who came to this class. You have that offer of 10% to come to this funding class. It's a 20. We also have other classes, how to start business, jump start business. If you have never been a business, we had a fantastic class going on, and it's still continuing. And I'm gonna give you more. So let me first of all find John Paul. What other? I mean, the best advice have to any entrepreneur really wanting to go to find an investor, and they have tried very hard to get to. They've written all this, they polished up everything, and they have not gotten the investors. Maybe they have tried 2, 3, 10 times. I don't know, because you give up anyway very soon because of one no. How can you encourage this person to continue trying to find investor, because it's a tough journey as well. Not all investors will say yes. How can you encourage this kind of a person?
So you cannot do what you don't know. That's one fundamental principle in life. You cannot do what you don't know. So if you are more or less running around in circles, doing the same thing, and you are frustrated that you're not raising money, clearly 2021 is the year you have to do things differently. And when it comes to raising money from investors, it's not just about information. After all, we live in a generation that has the most access to information. So just go on Google and and search for how to raise money from investors. You're going to see more than 2 million results, different advice, different help, and all of that. Have you ever imagined why we live in an age where information is free and easily accessible? You can find all the answers you're looking for on Google, but we're still here discussing how to raise money from investors. Now, what that tells me is simple. Information is not power. Knowledge is power. The difference is that knowledge means that you know what to do with information. So I can imagine when somebody finishes the masterclass and you get on Google, what you are able to do with the information you find will be shocking to somebody who doesn't have the information. So information is a bullet. If you've ever seen a bullet on its own, you know that a bullet is harmless. You can hold the bullet, you can touch it. A bullet on its own is harmless. But if you put it in a gun, then it becomes dangerous. Information is a bullet. Knowledge is the gun. Knowledge is the gun that fires information. So all this while, all you've been doing is just more or less, the information is already available to you. The information is free. The information is on Google, but you cannot do much with it because you don't know what to do. What this funding class is going to do is to show you how to exploit information to your advantage. Because the truth I will tell you here, Joy, all the information is already out there. You can search for it on Google, but still, many entrepreneurs are frustrated with their ideas and their businesses. How come they can't use information that is free? What is missing is knowledge. And that's what this masterclass will do for you. Once you attend all the classes in the masterclass, you will now be able to exploit information to your advantage. When you see something on social media, see it in a newspaper, see it on Google, it means something different. You now see opportunity instead of noise, instead of news, instead of just information. So I hope I'm creating that difference. We live in an information age, but people have so many problems that they cannot solve. And that's because information is not power. Information on its own can't do anything for you. You need knowledge. And that's what you get from the masterclass.
Wow, wow. I think all of you had that. And I love that you said knowledge is power. That's actually the statement of our academy. That's our motto. So knowledge is power. Information is there for everyone, but if you don't know how to use it, what is it for, right? It's actually free everywhere. It's recorded, but do you know where it is? Do you know how to use it for your advantage? And that's why we are. So I'm gonna thank you so much for being there today. I think my guests here are gonna be looking at this video again and again. They can't afford to, but I'm telling you, you not be in our class, you're gonna miss a lot, because John Paul give really direct, and you have him just for you and your small class, very constructive. And as I told you, yes, we have very interesting stuff after the class, because I'm watching who's gonna be in the class, because you have a lot of investors as diaspora who are waiting to invest in your idea. I want to know how you're pitching, how are you, what your business is. This is where we will be working very closely with John Paul to make sure that we are getting the right people on board. African Women in Trade, this is the opportunity. So let's get started. I've given you 10% for the class. Let's get started, and let's start empowering you in the country. We don't want to have, sometimes even you will be noticing that some solutions even have them on the ground. The investor you need is just next to you. You'll be shocked. In your country, not here in Europe, in your country, and you don't know about it. So And we are here to share the knowledge is power. Thank you so much, John, for that. Looking forward to our class on 10 to, and 27 February towards the end, and it's a three course
January. Yeah.
January, sorry, and then
Mhm.
all the way to February, two more, and then we'll be here back. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait. It finally we have a class.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you
So
for having.
thank you all our listeners who are out there. As I mentioned to you, we have a lot of information for you. Our Academy is ready for you, and we need you to make the biggest step forward. And that's why I'm sharing with you that we have given you the coupon of 20% funding. 2021 is a coupon. Put it on the link that I have shared with you on the WhatsApp. On the chat here, and you get 10% off from the amount. And what you're gonna be getting is a class that will have I'll share with you again here so that you know the class. It's a funding masterclass, which is going to 150, so you get your 10% off. And then the class starts anyway, most of the time in the evening at your comfort. And we have it basically on 3 days, continuous days, as you can see, at 27 January on a Thursday. Mark on your calendar all these days, Thursdays, 4th of February, 18th of February. These classes will be already started. And we also have very, very good surprise for the attendees of these classes, because we are watching. We need to know what's happening on the ground. As you had diaspora, we have so many opportunities there to link you up with the right investor. And there are a lot of investors out there, but we need to get the right entrepreneur, and also to get to know your business as well. So don't miss that out. I also want to give a shout out because our academy has so many other classes. This is another class that is happening right now as we speak. We just received our certificates for the how to pitch. Yes, we just had there how important how to pitch. So we have here Jumpstart for the beginners who want to start businesses. And we even have Grow Your Business that is coming up as well. If you want to open a non-profit organization, we also have that as well. You can choose that in this option here. And if you're already in the business, as I said, these are just some of the classes, but a lot of classes outside there for you in the Airway Academy. And how to get us, as I shared with you, www.airwayacademy.eu. You have the link there. All the classes are there for you to take up. Yes, we have been empowered. We have very, very special tutor, very powerful, who make you change your mindset, because most of us is the mindset, as I said. Some of these solutions are already there on the ground, but what we always say, sometimes when you're in the box, you don't see everything. You need to get out of the box, or just talk to people who are outside the box, who are now the diaspora in Africa, and tell you what exactly is inside your box. And that's what we are here as diaspora to do that. I want to thank you, all of you who are here, who listen to us all throughout. Don't forget to follow up on African Women in Europe. We also, that's our biggest, our umbrella of all these products that you're seeing, called African Women in Europe.eu. It's important to be a member. Hope you received our newsletters with the new ideas that are coming up as well. You can always, as you all know, we are having during our we are having our awards coming up. So these our awards, we are really looking forward to nominate. We're so excited. I know COVID-19 was really hard, and some of you really suffered a lot, but you can always, we are going to check and see how we can support you even more in terms of where you are right now in your businesses. So email to us if you're in the Airway Academy. Send us an email if you want to be nominated, or if you know somebody who needs to be nominated in the Europe, in EU, doing amazing work, a woman. Also, we also have men. Email to us as well. We are looking forward to that as well. So don't forget as well, we have an Airway app. Our app is also there on your Android and the iOS. That's where we are communicating. We are charging a fee for that, for one to lifetime membership. Check on that as well. We'll be coming with new options for you. And of course, the video project, the one we just mentioned just a few minutes ago from John Paul. This is the video project, how to get free grants to start your businesses. We are having this lesson almost every second week. We had last one, they mark your calendar. The next one is on 8th of of February, which is a Monday, and you can be able to be part of that as well. So there's so much going on, and I want to also talk about my women, African women in trade. You're amazing women doing amazing work. We just started this journey, and it's gonna be a beautiful journey for us. So those people who don't know us, check on www.africanwomenintrade. Join us as well. It's also another arm that has been started from African women in Europe, and so many. And as I told you, our diaspora circle. Yes, we'll be also investors looking for you as diaspora to invest in entrepreneurs. Big movement. We are all diaspora ready. We have been sending money in Africa in different way, but how can we do it in a way we also gain? So the our diaspora circle is also gonna be launched very soon. We are working so hard. It's very difficult with all because all the regulations are in the country, but we are going to get it started soon. So thank you so much for joining, and check out on us, as I said. Check on our products. We have quite a lot of going on. We also have our book. Check on our book where women shared with you how they came to the diaspora, how it has been for them, and what you can also learn from each other. It's not always as you always think. The other side doesn't look greener as you think. We do have a lot of issues when we come on this, and then we always choose the right network, the right places to be. And that's why we all call ourselves African Women in Europe, because we have come together to make sure that we are able to empower each other and reach higher together with the Ubuntu love. We always say, together we are strong. I'll leave you this at this moment, and looking forward to hear from you again. Meanwhile, I'll share with you what the Our Academy has, and see you next time, next Friday. And if African Women in Trade, we're going to see you again on Monday with our guests in that area. Welcome, and I wish you a good evening and a good weekend. Stay safe. Please, if you're in Europe, there's a lot going on also in Africa. Please stay safe, stay at home as those people who are, and really keep all to the regulations. We need you for the whole year and throughout. And those people who have lost their loved one, we are with you in prayers. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. Bye for now.